Hey guys, it's Melissa Rivers, and just for a few minutes every week, I invite you inside my group text. Every episode, we tackle everything from red carpet fashion and binge-worthy reboots to the joys and, of course, surprising realities of being an empty nester. But the real fun is who I'm chatting with. We've laughed with Bianca Del Rio, dishing on Dragon fame.
And usually I say, if I'm thinking it, someone else is thinking it.
We've heard heartfelt stories with Sarah Drew from Grey's Anatomy.
We have been anxious for 2.5 years, and so have our children.
We've gotten real with Sheena Shea on life after Vanderpump Rules.
That was the chapter about my husband having an affair when I was pregnant.
We've broken down reality TV drama with, Gina Kirschenheiter.
If you're a newbie, you shouldn't be talking. Who are you? And I didn't understand that.
These are the kind of conversations that feel like they come right from your own text. Authentic, unexpected, and full of heart. So if you love reality TV, Hollywood, and pop culture with a touch of personality thrown in, join my group text by subscribing now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you tune in. I'll save you a spot.
Hello, cousins. So it feels weird because Chantal's not here right now. You know, she's busy with the baby. It's been one weekend and we already recorded today. So she did tell me that she could later tonight, but I didn't even want to have to put her through that because she might be tired later with a baby. So emergency podcast, you guys. A lot of you were like, please do a podcast immediately because it's New Jersey related. And we kind of started this whole thing with New Jersey. We stopped talking about New Jersey quite a bit on our public platform just because we'd get reviews where it's like, you guys are only talking about Jersey and yada, yada, Teresa's payroll and all that stuff. And we, on Patreon, different story here. We're like, we're really not going to talk about it. So we don't really talk about it often. If anything happens, we'll just talk about it on Patreon where we'll cover things. But this definitely deserves an episode on the main platform because, a few weeks ago, Teresa came out and she said that she wants to move forward with her brother. And a lot of it had to do with the special forces and other personal things that happen where I think she saw her brother and, it's weird. So she wanted to move forward and she wanted the world to know that she's ready to move forward and she's going to do things privately. Like they're not filming a show right now. A lot of people are like, is she doing this because of the show? They're not filming a show right now. And she ended up coming out and saying that she actually reached out to him and everyone was like a little bit surprised because for quite a bit, she was saying, I'm never going to do that. And, time heals all wounds. We say this all the time with everything in life. And with what's been going on in her life, she's at peace. She's at peace with what happened. She's in a great place. She's very happy. And I think she's also, realizing too how much it's affected her kids and what her kids have gone through because her kids are very close with Joe Giudice's side of the family. And she knows that these kids, if Teresa and Melissa got along, just like in any situation, like you're typically closest with whoever your mom is close with, those kids would have been like BFFs like no other. And that's why you see Melissa's kids super close with her sister's kids, even though their kids are not close in age. So obviously all the cousins are missing each other. And I think a lot of it had to do with the children. And I think the children like see each other and stuff. So it's weird. So, it's great that she was doing this. When I found out, I'm like, listen, life is short. So absolutely, if you guys are willing to move forward, like in my head, I'm thinking that's great. Good for them. However, just knowing how Joe and Melissa are from what we've seen on the show, I was like, I hope that he's like receptive to it. And I don't think that Melissa would be, because at the end of the day, it's like those sister-in-law relationships. Like they're never going to like each other, but I think they both can make peace for one another. Anyways, so we haven't really heard a response from Joe and Melissa. And especially after we found out that Teresa sent the text message and reached out to Joe, we haven't heard anything. So, Joe goes on a podcast and he goes on Tamra Judge's husband podcast, which just a side note, like, Eddie is a very grumpy man when it comes to Tamra. But at the end of the day, Tamra like has hooked Eddie up, you know, with the podcast under like Tamra's network, under Tamra, like umbrella in iHeartRadio. And then even with the gym, like Tamra hooked it up. So I do think, yeah, while we say Tamra's a lot, Eddie needs to be thanking her because he has opportunities simply because of his wife. And so he looks very irritated all the time. And it's like, you know what, your wife does a lot for you. And that has nothing to do with, you know, the whole Tamra of it all, because that's a different story. But I was just thinking that as Joe was on this, and they asked Joe about Teresa and about how Teresa reached out. And I was like nervous to listen to it. Normally I'm like super passionate about these things because hello, like we open our blog. You guys have heard the whole spiel based on the Joe and Melissa thing and Teresa. And, you know, I have a brother and I can't imagine in a million years my brother being the way that Joe is. And so he gets asked about this, and I want to play some clips because it was very disappointing, and I don't know why I expected anything different, but it was just, it was a little bit disappointing. So let's listen to this.
Yeah, I heard something about you and Teresa talking again.
Oh,
Was that just one of those fake rumors or fake news, or is that actually starting to happen?
no, she did text me. She reached out, you know,
Awesome.
and she would like to sit down and meet. So, you know, I am the guy who I am. I'm a good brother. You know, I've never wanted to argue with her ever. It was not my intentions. So, you know, I hear her out. I like to hear her out, see what she has to say, because, you know, but if I sit down with her and I hear her out, it has to be it has to be very humble.
Right.
It has to come from a humble place. It has to be real. It has to be, you know, I've made mistakes and we can move forward. If not,
You think she's doing it so that she can get back on the show or to, you know, solidify?
Before he answers that, it just brought me back. So my reaction immediately is to season 3. And it brought me back to the scene where he was in the bedroom with Melissa and he's about to meet Teresa on her own. And Melissa's like in his head, which, like, you know, at the end of the day, Melissa's his wife. Like, he's chosen. So it is what it is. And that's why in this situation, sometimes it's hard to move forward, because when it comes to like a wife and their husband's not going to be as emotional, step in. Like Louis, like he's not going to get involved. If this is what she wants, he's going to support it. Whereas in like with women, Melissa may be hurt because neither of them are perfect, right? They've both done things to hurt each other throughout the years. However, it was her brother who started it all by coming onto a show. And I know that a lot of you guys will be like, get over it. That was season 3. Well, half of you didn't even watch it then when season 3 came on, if you are saying that. And that's like an unforgivable thing. Like when that's your brother who you grew up with as a child and he does something like that, like come on a show behind your back. And as Joe just said right now, he literally just said, I'm a good brother. I've never wanted to fight with her. I've never wanted to do that. That's what he just said. But he literally came on a show, season 3, the first day that they began filming, got into a fight with her and her husband and her family and embarrassed them on national television. Like, that's a big deal in the Italian community to do that. There's a lot of great people in New Jersey who are Italians, who would be, and I'm sure outside of that too, but who would be amazing to be on the show, but they don't want to embarrass themselves. Just like Chaldeans, which is what I am, you know, we're not going to like sit there and embarrass ourselves and like fight with family on the show. So the one thing about Joe is he's never been able to take any accountability. Like there is no scene. And I challenge you guys to listen to me and actually find a scene of Joe looking at his sister and saying, I am so sorry. Like, I'm sorry for all the bullshit. You won't see it. There's no scene, but you will see Teresa throughout all of season 3, beg him, do all that, say, I'm sorry, you know, just all the things. You'll see that. So when he says, like, I'm a good brother, I never wanted to fight. And then he went on his sister's job, got the same job, used her name to get that job, did not tell her he got that job, comes on the show, fights with her immediately, embarrasses their whole entire family. Like, that's unforgivable. Like, that's something that even if you're able to move forward, the second he does something, you remember stuff like that. Like, that's second nature. We all do that. Every single one of us would do that if we were in that situation. So I listened to that and immediately I'm like, dude, you know, and I'm a little upset because I'm like, Teresa's doing the right thing by saying she wants to move forward. And, you know, again, she was sitting there saying like, I'm never going to move forward. I'm never going to move forward. And now she's saying like, listen, this is like my only brother. I'm willing to move forward. And it's like, you know, it just sucks because a lot of the time we put ourselves down for people and we just think hopefully they are going to react better or like be accountable as well. And in this situation, he didn't do that at all. So let's hear what he has to say about if she did it for coming back on the show.
Argue with her ever.
Hold on.
A lot of it has to be very humble.
Right.
I'm sorry.
We're men, right?
Show or to, you know, solidify that position on the show?
You know, Eddie, I don't know, man. I mean, listen, we're men, right?
Right.
We have been men our whole lives, and a man is, you know, I support my wife, I support my children, I've supported my parents, I've support my siblings, right? I support everybody. I'm not the guy that's going to turn his back on anyone, no matter what they did to me, you know, because you know, we have to be examples for people because look at this society, look at this war that's going on in life. What are we going to, if no one made up, there'd be no ceasefire ever. You have to make up. You have to move on or everybody would be dead.
Yeah.
This nonsense of arguing and fighting for what? For what? For you know, there's no reasons. Listen,
he was going to say, he was literally going to say for television. He said and then stopped himself. And then Eddie right now says for ratings.
For you know, there's no reasons. Listen,
ratings.
Ratings. There's two different type of people. I'm chill. I'm relaxed. You could hurt me as long as you apologize to me. I accept it. I'm kind of a pushover. I'll be honest. I got a good heart. You know, and I just don't.
I do believe he is a pushover when it comes to his wife. And I don't know if that's a bad thing because it's his wife. But I do believe, yes, absolutely. Joe is a pushover when it comes specifically to his wife.
Rather not argue or hold a grudge the rest of my life for what, you know? So we'll see. We'll see, you know?
Well, you got great character with that, Joe.
Yeah.
Great character with that. So way to be an example on that. Wish you the best.
What are we going to do? Yeah, what am I going to do? You know, so hopefully, you know, I'm here to help. If I can help her, we have to help. We have to help and do what we do as who we are as good people, right? That's what we do.
Yeah.
We've always.
I don't know if he's saying he's here to help, like if I can help her in the sense where it's like, I'm here to help her get her job back if that's what I need to do. Like, I don't know if he's thinking that because like, she's not asking for help. She's asking to move forward. You, Joe, just said yourself that you don't want to hold a grudge. Like life is short. And I appreciate him saying that because it's absolutely true. Like no one wants to hold on to hate. It is probably, we've seen Joe out and like even photos, like all that stuff. And he looks fucking depressed. Like this has aged him a little bit. Like he looks stressed out. And so this has definitely had a big impact on him. So I'm glad that he's saying like, hey, in life, we got to move forward. Because again, you hold on to this hate and it's always in the back of your mind. However, I'm like, she's not asking you for help. She's helped you her entire life. Joe Giudice has helped you your entire life. And she's gotten you something that you've always wanted, which was to be on TV, which was to have all this attention. Because listen, Joe, we saw him at BravoCon. And outside of like that whole spiel with like us and him, like people like him. He is like a fun guy. He lives for that shit. And he wouldn't have had that if it wasn't for Teresa. So I don't quite understand this whole help comment though.
It's what we do. So it's hard to turn you back. You know?
One of my favorite sayings is your
It's hard to turn your back. I'm not going to go to my sister's wedding. Okay.
character will be revealed under pressure. Yes. You know, and It's a good example of you showing humility.
Who is this other guy? I thought this was just Tamra's husband, and there's another person speaking, and I'm sorry, I have no idea.
There, Joe, and just even taking that text and actually going to do something about it. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, it took me a minute. I'll be honest with you. And I'm not the type that like I never want to speak ever again, because I always say, okay. I mean, trust me, she's done some horrific
Oh my God.
things to me, and but it's okay.
So I feel like at that point he was going to hold himself maybe a little bit accountable. I would like to think that he has a little bit of a brain to do that, where he was like, but then he says, but it's okay. And it's like, I don't know. It's nice because Melissa's not here. Because if Melissa was there, she would talk over him and we would not be able to get his answer. And that would suck. But like him not taking any accountability in life, it's never just one person, you know, even if like one person has done all these horrible things to you, which is not the case here. They've both ended up, and Teresa to me reacted to Joe. But she never like started shit with Joe. She would never do that because he meant so much to her. And she literally praised this man like he was like some god, which was like crazy. I mean, like I love my brother so much. I'm not out here praising him, but he's a good man. I mean, I would praise him, but the way that she did was like, holy moly, like she loves her brother. Like she adores him. She's like his biggest fan. And of course a wife comes along and that's going to take over. And it's amazing if they both get along. But in this situation, it was always a competition. It was always like a money thing. Like I want that much money. I want this. I want whatever it is. But at the end of the day, like Joe's loyalty is to his wife and with his family. So it's like, was there a point of Teresa wanting to move forward with this guy? I don't know, because he sits there and he's like, she did horrific things to me. And whether you like Teresa or not, I can show you a million different clips. I can show you at least 10. Like I already know in the back of my head of her saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to make you feel this way. I'm sorry. Like her literally apologizing to him and him just like staring at her like this like macho man, like, yeah, you better say sorry to me. And so, which makes me wonder, like, what happens behind closed doors between him and Melissa? I can't even imagine, because he seems like the type who's like, I'm a man, so you must say sorry to me. So let's see what else he said.
Okay.
And also, wait, side note, you guys, like, I don't even like that he's like, I don't know, you guys, I don't know if it's just me. Like, tell me if you have a brother. Like, my brother's older than me, 6 years though. So maybe it's because he's older than me, but I just cannot even imagine that my brother, a man, going on a podcast and like saying like my sister did horrific things to me. I can't imagine it. Even if I did, I can never imagine my brother do that. Like my brother will never talk about me to anybody. Maybe he'll talk about me to my face, like complete different story. But my brother is so fucking loyal to me and I am so loyal to him. And like, I just don't understand this type of relationship, especially with how they grew up. And I grew up very similar. Like we were always so tight. But again, my brother was 6 years older than me, but my brother just would never, like my brother looks at me and he's like proud of me and stuff. Like he's proud of me and he would feel like very woman. My brother's the type would feel like, that's not masculine. Like me sitting there, like throwing my sister under the bus or talking about my sister. And that is why I've always been so passionate about this. Cause I'm like, I just like cannot imagine, a brother who's like cultured, like this Italian guy, how he grew up. This is not how we were raised. This is not how it is. And, I know that his dad had problems with his sister, which is crazy because you guys, the same thing with us. Like on my dad's side, he had a problem with his sisters, didn't talk for years, but then they got good. No matter what, the cousins were always good. No matter what, my dad treated his nieces and nephews great, and vice versa. And like we were always still so close, even though that happened with them. So I don't know. I just wish that Joe, if he's listening or anyone listening that knows him, like just, it's never just one person. Even if you feel like she did everything to you, you may have made her feel a type of way. And there's nothing wrong with taking accountability and saying, we both have been messy for fucking TV and it's bullshit and our kids are older and it's embarrassing. So let's see what else he says.
Forgive. As long as it's how they do it. you know?
Right. How did Melissa take it?
This is a real good story about Bronx and his dad, Ryan, real United Airlines customers.
We were returning home, and one of the flight attendants asked Bronx if he wanted to see the flight deck and meet Captain Andrew.
I got to sit in the driver's seat.
I grew up in an aviation family, and seeing Bronx kind of reminded me of myself when I was that age.
That's Andrew, a real United pilot.
These small interactions can shape a kid's future.
It felt like I was the captain.
Allowing my son to see the flight deck will stick with us forever.
That's how good leads the way.
Hi, it's Eva Longoria, and let's be real. After 40, we should ask for more from our skincare. I swear by Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer by L'Oreal Paris. With vitamin C, pro-retinol, and hyaluronic acid, it reduces my wrinkles, firms, and brightens. And it's not a procedure. It's just a hardworking moisturizer.
Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer by L'Oreal Paris. Grab it today in fragrance-free or with SPF 30. Available at your local Walmart.
Listen, you know, she's taking her. Melissa has a heart of gold.
Right.
When I met her, she comes from a family that is, the love is insane.
Okay, side note, just because someone comes from a family that the love is insane, it's actually typically those people who are not open to having another family. It's those people who, not always, but it's those people who like come from a family that they're so like obsessed with. They're with their sisters and their mom every day and stuff. And they like have expectations for their in-laws that they don't have for their own family. And they're just comfortable with their family. Like when it comes to like Christmas, Thanksgiving, to this, to that, it's their family first, and then we'll figure out yours. And, you know, Joe has to follow along with it. So just because you come from a family of love doesn't mean you want that with another family. It just means like you want to stick with your family because you're obsessed with your family. It happens all the time. That means nothing. That doesn't mean that you're going to be so loving towards his mom and dad and his sister and all that stuff. No, clearly that was never the case because Melissa was out here before she even came on the show talking shit to producers to get on the show, talking shit to Teresa's enemy to get on the show. If you come for so much love, you'll never throw your family under the bus, period.
You know, they love each other, respect each other. They bring each other up. So she has,
which is exactly what Joe and Teresa did. They would bring each other up. They loved each other. The problem in all of this, you guys, it's truly never Melissa. Like Melissa's in his ear, but Joe never shut that shit down. Joe has always been the full-on problem here. I mean, Melissa's always going to be in his ear, so it doesn't make it better. But it's because Joe has allowed that instead of also like, you know, kind of teaching his wife, like, let's be the bigger and better people. Like, let's be the bigger person. We've both done things. We've both said things. And it's like, for what? Like, look we've been on a pause for what, 3 fucking years? Like almost 3 years. And it's been depressing. Like, it's been depressing. It's made me like lose sleep. Like, for what? The show is clearly not forever. We've just been tested and proven that this show is clearly not forever.
Forgiven my sister so many times, and in a good way. Oh, and that's why I respect about her. So, you know, she listens to me. She loves me.
She listens to me.
She loves our family. It's all about, you know, she's not here to teach our children to hate.
Right.
We know our
and I believe that.
Under pressure.
Yes.
You know, and an example of you showing humility there, Joe, and just even taking that text and actually going to do something about it. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, it took me a minute.
Oh, I already shared this. I'm sorry. I just thought there was more to it, but there's clearly not. Overall, you guys, I don't know. I feel like I am very much like, even in my life, I'm like always like, let me be the bigger person. If that means I have to take accountability, if that means like I made someone feel this type of way, like I never want to be a reason someone feels the type of way. So like, I'll just like say sorry. Like I'll confront the situation. Like I don't want it to be like this because like, if I know I'm hurting or I'm thinking about it, I guarantee the other person is too. So like, let's both take accountability. Let's both say, here's how we can move forward. And this very much feels like that dinner scene where it was after, I think, Gia's meet, you guys. It was after her like dance competition. Joe came late. He was invited. And Teresa and him end up meeting up. And right before they meet up, like, of course, like Melissa's like in his ear, like telling him like what to say. Joe Giudice, on the other hand, doesn't give a shit. And they go and they meet up. And it was just like, this is what you need to do to move forward. And even him proclaiming that on a podcast and saying like, she needs to be humble. Like, that's how I'm going to approach it. Like, that's not something you should teach your kids. Like, you have 2 sons and a daughter. And like, if your sons were like, she needs to be humble, and fine, say it to your wife. That's fair. Say whatever you want to your wife, but to say it on a podcast, and like, for me to go into that, because like with Teresa, when she went into that, all she could think about was her parents. Like, I need to do good by my parents. Like, I need to just be the bigger person for my parents. She doesn't necessarily have that, but her children, I think her children, every single one of them, I think her, and again, her children see them, out. I think her children want her to move forward. And I think Teresa chooses her children every day, no matter what, before anybody. And as you can see, like, Louis not out here like reacting, doing anything, saying anything. Like, he's just there to support his wife. So genuinely, if she wants to move forward, like, he's going to move forward. And I swear to God, like, I just know at BravoCon, if Louis sees Joe sees Louis, I fucking know. I know Louis, and I know he's going to literally go up to Joe and just like say hi to him, give him a hug, and Joe's going to act like, what? Like, I already know what's going to happen. At the end of the day, like, I wish that all this happened behind the scenes. I wish that none of us knew about this. I wish that it happened all behind the scenes, and that they kind of figured it out. So no one was like asking on a podcast and stuff. I feel like the reason that Teresa said it publicly is because it tied into special forces. I do think that, like, also she wanted to give them a heads up that she is okay and ready to move forward. And then she waited a little bit, and then she sent them the text because, she saw like Melissa's response and all that stuff. Like, even the sprinkle cookies thing, like, good for Melissa. But like, if that was my sister-in-law, like, the whole sprinkle cookie thing happened because of Teresa. Like, we all know it. And it's like, even doing shit like that, like, there's just so many that adds up. But in order to like find peace, you just want to move forward. One of Teresa's biggest day of her entire life was her wedding. That was like the biggest day. She asked Joe to walk in it and to walk her down the aisle. And they asked him to be a groomsman and then to walk him down the aisle. And like, the first thing he did was make it, like, imagine your wedding. He's making it. And how old are they, dude? He's making it about like his family. Well, which one of my kids is going to walk? I'll only do it if Melissa's walking. Why the fuck would Melissa be walking, you guys? Why would anyone walk that at any point can flip and like be against you at this fucking age? Like, at this age, it's fine when you guys are younger, but it's like, even like the whole godchild thing, like, I am so specific on who will be the godchildren for my kids. Like, I can do the politically correct thing and like have someone as my children's godparent. But like, will this person ever do me wrong? Like, do they have the best intentions when it comes to me? And if I think for a second that it doesn't, and then it's my child, like, I'm not going to have them baptize my kid. Cause to me, like, that's a big deal. Like, you're going to teach them about God. You're going to teach them about this. And Melissa's like Gabriella's, godmother. Teresa was one of their godparents. And usually, no matter what, like, you're going to have the sister, but like an in-law, like, I don't know. And so I don't know, you guys. If Chantal was here, she would be like, well, this is what you mean by explaining that. And I lost my train of thought. I did, but I think it was just basically the wedding. Like, he made it about him. And then on the day of, you guys, and it's like, I know Teresa doesn't want to harp on these things, but like, on the day of, Melissa's like wacky ass family, like posting shit about Teresa, as they always do. Like, they've like talked so much shit about Teresa. We have all the screenshots going all about Terry. Just search her family on our page and you'll see allabouttrh.com and you'll see everything. But on the day of their wedding, like, literally, like, as Louis was getting ready, he's seeing all these posts of Joe saying real family, like, just like such loser bitch behavior. That's what it is. And it's like all these things that he's done. And you're saying my sister has done horrific things to me. Like, you haven't done anything. Like, your wife hasn't called your niece a liar at the reunion. Like, it's so messed up. And that's why Teresa went into this. Like, I don't want to harp on things. I don't want to say, you said this, you said this, you said that. I just want to move forward, because if we talk about it, we're both going to get mad. And he's saying, no, you're going to come to me and you're going to be very humble about it. And it's like, you know what, then fuck you. Like, fuck you. Why did I even do this? Like, this is why. Like, thank you. This is why it's so hard to be the bigger person with people like this. And you got to pray for people like that, because it's like, it's like almost like this like level of delusion. And it's like, what's wrong with you? Like, hey, like, you're wrong too. Like, it's not just me. It's not just me. So I don't know. I think the best thing for all of this would have been to have just kept it private and see what have happened, because comments like that, if I were Teresa, like I would just be turned off and I'd be like, dude, why the fuck did I do that? And I'm kind of like thinking like, why'd you even bother? Why'd you even bother? Like, I'm all for being the bigger person, but like in life, there's only so much that you can be the bigger person of. And now you just wish them well. Like, pray for them, like pray for the situation, pray that like organically you guys may be able to like come together before it's too late. But I don't know, you guys, I did not like his reaction response. And, you know, he was talking about his children and we didn't teach him to have hate and all this stuff, but it's like, you got to teach your kids accountability, dude. You got to teach them that, because like we all need to hold ourselves accountable for things. And you think about that whole wrestling incident when he was, you know, at his son's game and how he acted at the wrestling thing and how he fought with the ref for his son, like embarrassing his son and everything like that. Like he lacks accountability. He just does. And it could be because he was like in an Italian family household, because this happens like with Chaldeans, like in our household, like the youngest boy, he's like our everything. He can do no wrong. Like they spoil the shit out of him. And me and Chantal even talk about like the way our parents like put our brothers on a pedestal in comparison to us. And like, we were super all like successful. And we did it all on our own and we were so independent, all the girls, but like the way they look at their sons, and that happens a lot. And I think that's why Joe is like that, because his parents, you know, God rest their souls, like, you know, that was their baby. And so he lacks that like accountability. He kind of has that like victim mindset, and he posts quotes and shit, but he just has a victim mindset. Like, let's just think about how old this man is, and he can't own up to nothing. He is, I'm looking to see his age, 51 years old. Like, that's kind of crazy. It really is. He's not even that much younger than Teresa. Never mind. They're like they're a year and a half apart. So they're literally the same age. I'm like, he's like so much younger or something, but that's my reaction, you guys. That is my response to this. I feel disappointed, but I feel like, what did I think was going to happen? What did I think he was going to say? I was excited to hear his reaction without Melissa, because I don't think she's someone who like makes it better. I think she's always in his head, but I think that she will move forward. She'll absolutely move forward, but she'll still like have this like, you know, opinion on Teresa and still do the shady stuff that she does. But I do think she will move forward. I just think she'll be like, oh, it was done for the show, like to get back on the show and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, no one even knows who's coming back. And you have Teresa on 5 BravoCon panels, and she hasn't even been on the show in almost 3 years. So like clearly Bravo knows she's the face of Real Housewives, whether you like her or not. She's in all the commercials. She's in all the like TV sitcoms when they like have Real Housewives rolling in the background. Like her scenes are, because she makes good TV. You know, she's authentically herself. She doesn't know how to be any other way. So you guys are going to be like, oh, you are just up Teresa's ass. Like, no, I'm telling you, I'm not saying that Teresa's been perfect in this. I do think that Teresa reacted a lot, and that's what happened with them. But I think that Teresa is in her, like, I want to move forward with anybody. Like I think she'll move forward with Kathy Wakili. I think she'll move forward with anyone right now, and good for her, because she's like at peace in her life right now. And that's good. And, you know, people ask about the Bravo pause, and they're like, why did Bravo pause this? What was the point? Well, I mean, Teresa got to a point where she's like, let go of anger, because she's like, you guys literally came for my husband. And from the very second, something that Joe claimed he hated that Teresa could have done with Melissa. And she's like, you guys came for my husband time and time again, but you brought this dangerous woman who has stalked me and my daughters into this platform. And that was like Teresa's biggest thing. Like, you did that. You spoke to her. And we've been in lawsuits with her left and right because she's lied on us. She's done all these horrible things, literally like stalked our kids. And you guys did that. So, I don't know, you guys. I just wish this man really just held himself accountable. And, you know, that's where I'm at there. So I hope this episode was decent without Chantal, because I just went on a whole ass tangent for 30 minutes, but that's how I feel. So let me know your guys' thoughts on it. Thank you guys for listening. We do miss Chantal, but I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts and to see what happens from here. All right. Well, hope you guys have a good night. I got to go put the other kids to bed. So bye, guys.
Hey guys, it's Melissa Rivers, and just for a few minutes every week, I invite you inside my group text. Every episode, we tackle everything from red carpet fashion and binge-worthy reboots to the joys and, of course, surprising realities of being an empty nester. But the real fun is who I'm chatting with. We've laughed with Bianca Del Rio, dishing on Dragon fame.
And usually I say, if I'm thinking it, someone else is thinking it.
We've heard heartfelt stories with Sarah Drew from Grey's Anatomy.
We have been anxious for 2.5 years, and so have our children.
We've gotten real with Sheena Shea on life after Vanderpump Rules.
That was the chapter about my husband having an affair when I was pregnant.
We've broken down reality TV drama with, Gina Kirschenheiter.
If you're a newbie, you shouldn't be talking. Who are you? And I didn't understand that.
These are the kind of conversations that feel like they come right from your own text. Authentic, unexpected, and full of heart. So if you love reality TV, Hollywood, and pop culture with a touch of personality thrown in, join my group text by subscribing now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you tune in. I'll save you a spot.